So, you've seen them, right? In the shops, brandishing their fans, never buying anything without whipping out their fan and comparing it with the fabric. And they look so confident, and they don't let any of those shopkeepers push them around. They know exactly what they're looking for. And when you ask them why, they say it's because of color analysis. So what are these color analysis seasons anyway? And why are there more than two? Isn't it enough to know that my skin is cool or warm or even neutral? What are the 12 seasons, and what are they like compared to each other? Hello, I'm Jorunn, and I'm a sciART personal color analyst, and I'm based in Norway. My website is called Nordic Simplicity, and that's because I'm Norwegian, and I feel that the Nordic way of dressing can be quite useful for people who like to dress practical and with less fuss and dress simply without looking boring, and because I like to try to explain complex matters in a simple manner. And in this video, I'm going to simplify the heck out of color analysis seasons and try to answer some questions that you might have, and perhaps even answer some questions that you didn't think you had, but that I think you'll find useful. Are you ready? Color analysis started out with 4 seasons, and if you're as old as I am, you'll remember the book called Color Me Beautiful, which we all read and scrutinized in the 80s, and it was such a revelation at the time. That system placed a lot of importance on hair and eye color, which is different from the sciART system which I'm trained in, where we analyze the skin first and foremost, because we know that hair and eye color will correspond with your season, not determine it. But I digress. Let's get back to the history lesson. The first kind of color analysis system had 2 cool and 2 warm seasons. And I do agree, it's important to know if you're cool or warm, because if you know that, already you're ahead of a lot of people and you can avoid a lot of horrible looking outfits. So the 4 seasons taught us a lot about the difference the right colors can make, and this made a huge difference. But our knowledge is always evolving, and the color analysis systems evolved too. Among the new systems was sciART, which I'm trained in, so everything I say comes from my understanding of this method. We still talk about the 4 main seasons, but we have come to the understanding that there are neutral seasons as well. People who are not completely cool or completely warm. It's rather a beautiful system where we can analyze where you are on the scale of cool to warm or neutral, and which one of these make your skin look plump and smooth and lit from within. If it's high intensity or low intensity or saturation that make you come forward. And we analyze the levels of value, which means how light or dark colors bring out the best in you. All of these mixes of components determine whether your place is on where your place is, whether you're here or there on this ring of seasons. And each of these seasons has qualities that correspond with our qualities, and the 2 of you bring out the best in each other. Let's have a look at how the seasons compare to each other. Let's look at winter to summer. It is important to know whether you're cool or warm, but it's just as important to know what kind of cool and what kind of warm you are, because they are so very different. Winter is cool like ice. So it's kind of cool in a sharp and still way. You see winter on the left here. And summer is cool like water in a fluid and hazy way. And if you're a summer and you would dress in winter coolness, it will look harsh against your skin. You're going to look pale and overpowered instead of coming forward and with clarity. If you're a winter and you dress in summer colors, your presence is going to be compromised and you will not look like your strong self, and you're going to miss out on being truly present. Now, here's autumn and spring. Autumn is warm like it's heated from the glow of a cozy fireplace, and spring is warm like brilliant sunshine flooding the palette. If you're in autumn dressed in spring heat, it's going to look a little silly almost on you, like you're playing dress up. But if you are a spring and you wear autumn colors, you're going to look like you're wearing furniture. You're just going to look tired and drained. So you see there's quite a bit of difference in the cool and the warm seasons between themselves too. But what about the 12 seasons? Each of the 4 main seasons has 2 satellites that branch off in each direction. You might be a true season, but it's far more likely that you have a little influence from one of the neighboring seasons. In sciART, we never say that you're a winter with a summer influence or autumn with a spring influence. If you come to me saying that you're a winter summer, I will know that it wasn't a sciART analyst who helped you with your color analysis. So what we operate with is the influence of the true season next to you. If you're a neutral person and you're not one of the true seasons. Let's have a closer look at that. Say you're a spring. Here's spring. You may be a true spring, or you may be a spring with a bit of winter influence. If you are, then you will benefit from the bright sharpness of winter, but you're still a spring. Or you may be a spring which leans a little towards summer. Then you're a light spring, sharing a little bit of lightness and fluidity with summer. Do you want to see what that looks like in clothing? There they are. The left one is bright spring, the middle one is true spring, and the right one is light spring. You see how the intensity is higher in bright spring to the left, and the season has a lighter, a slightly cooler expression in light spring because of the summer influence is hazy and light, and the winter influence is intense and sharp. In my opinion, you're almost always better off leaning into the true season next to you rather than veering into the neighboring neutral season. So autumn has the same as spring, a true season and 2 satellites. Dark autumn goes towards winter, and soft autumn is influenced by summer. This is what that would look like in clothing. To the left we see dark autumn, which has more intensity and a little more of the winter sharpness without going completely in that extreme direction. True autumn is in the middle here, rich and warm, and even the blue colors are warm. And to the right we see soft autumn, which is autumn with a lot of summer influence, making it the softest, gentlest of all the seasons. Moving on to winter, we see bright winter, which is the winter that has some spring influence. And dark winter, which is winter that leans a little bit towards autumn. I suppose you're curious to see what that looks like in clothes, right? Here we are. This is a different kind of blue from the autumn blues. The blues with the winters is intense and clear, has a lot of saturations. And dark winter on the left has a little bit of, it's not haziness, it's smokiness. There's a bit of autumn brown that takes the edge off winter. On the right hand side we see bright winter, which is a clear winter, but it has a bit of that sunshine brightness of spring, making it one of the two most intense seasons. I paired it with a pair of white trousers because of the brightness and clarity of bright winter. Looks really, really good with white. Bright winters can wear black, but I chose white for this. So summers, the true summer in the middle, it's cool and not bright. It's muted and it's fluid. And the summer satellite, the neutral satellites on either side, they have influence from spring or autumn, but they are still summers. This is what it would look like in clothing. True summer in the middle, very, very cool. And on the left we see soft summer, which has a bit of that autumn influence, so it's not quite as it's even more hazy than true summer, and it does also have a bit of that beigey taupe autumn feel to it, and it's deeper. It's the dark side of summer. The lighter side of summer is light summer, which we see on the right. It has the clarity of spring, and it's lit by sunshine, and it's almost like a big tall glass of lemonade. Not milkshake. Light spring is milkshake. Light summer is like lemonade. It's a little transparent. There's a lot of light. So moving on, I would like to talk a little more about the neutral seasons. First, let's talk about light spring and soft autumn. They're both warm and neutral. They're both one notch towards summer from a warm season, spring and autumn. Quite a lot of similarities, yes? And this is what that would look like in clothing. Soft autumn is decidedly more muted than light spring, a little darker than light spring, and there's a lot more clarity in light spring than in soft autumn. I'm choosing to show you both a palette and an example of an outfit that I've picked from each season, but just please remember that these are just examples. Going in the direction of winter from autumn and spring, we find the seasons dark autumn and bright spring. These are both a notch darker than their mother seasons, but bright spring is darker in a brighter way because of the sharpness of winter that's introduced. And dark autumn is darker in a more muted way because autumn colors are more muted. Dark autumn on the left, you see the spiciness and the colors are more muted. And bright spring is, well, bright. But if you look closely at some of those neutrals, I think we can agree that if you chose some of those darker neutrals, like these ones and these ones, and used them as a pair of pants or a skirt, you could get away with it if you choose your colors from your palette to combine them with. Can you see that? Now let's look at dark winter and soft summer. Dark winter and soft summer, they share some color properties in the neutrals too, but the lack of contrast in the soft summer palette is super important. And dark winter can wear black, and soft summer should stick to colors like muted charcoal and hazy navy instead. But other than that, I think that bottoms like skirt and trousers, you can get away with wearing each other's neutrals, well, except black, of course, as long as you're super picky about the colors you choose for the tops. Along comes light summer and bright winter, the two seasons that I hear people say you can mix the palettes up. And I must say, in this case, I don't disagree completely. It's far better for a bright winter to wear one of the clearer, more saturated light summer colors than it would be for bright winter to wear spring or autumn colors. But bright winter craves intensity though, and light summer craves light and clarity, and light summer gets overwhelmed by the fierce intensity of the bright winter palette. So it's always better to stay within your palette as much as you can, especially for tops and anything next to your face or on your face like makeup. So here we are. This was a simplified little dive into the 12 seasons and quick comparisons of some of the neutral seasons. Did you enjoy it? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think, and there's lots more content for all the 12 seasons on my website, Nordic Simplicity.